There's 5 ways that we're using AI every single day in our business, and every single one of you watching this video can actually take these systems that we're using and start seeing results for yourself very, very fast. So today, what I want to show you is how we're using those systems and what they look like. And look, these are real working systems. And I really want to give you an insight into what's actually possible with AI outside of the generic chatbot rubbish that you see everywhere posted on YouTube. Okay, so first up, a big part of our business is creating content here on YouTube, right? And running a lot of paid ads to then build an email list of leads that we can then remarket to. So we need a way to keep those leads warm and active once they're inside of our ecosystem. And how we do that, and how most people do that, is with an email newsletter that you can then write and send to those leads across the week or across the month, whatever it may be. Now, we've had leads inside of our email list for 6 months before they've actually made a decision to then book in a call and buy from us. They'd been getting emails 3 to 4 times per week, silently reading everything, building up that trust over time from the value that I've been sending out in those emails. Now, instead of every day sitting there and writing an email to send, it actually only takes me 1 day a month to prepare all of these emails every single week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is usually when I send an email. Now I can write all of those emails in under 2 hours, and I have people emailing me every single time that I send one saying how valuable they are. So here is exactly how I can do that. Now the emails I send are targeted to our ideal clients. I write some emails about lessons I've learned the month before, some emails with examples of client wins that we've seen recently. And to do this, it's really pretty simple. All I do is go to Claude, and inside of Claude, I've built a project that's been trained on my best performing email campaigns over the last 6 months. Now what this Claude project knows is it knows exactly how I write. It knows what format has worked well. It has a general template to follow for every email that it then helps me write as well. And all I need to do is drop in that general idea or the message that I want to get across inside of that email. I can tell Claude the key points I'm trying to make, and I can tell Claude the key outcome that I want the reader to leave with. Then literally AI does the rest. Now, I do want to make this very, very clear. This doesn't fully replace me and my own thoughts, but it does give me a base to then work from that I can then start to add to. And look, it literally takes me now 10 minutes per email going through, adding links, changing things that I don't like, and then adding different call to actions depending on what I want the reader to actually take an action on from reading that email. I can then schedule that email inside of ConvertKit or High Level, wherever I'm sending it, and then I just move on to the next one. And if you're sat there thinking, well, that's cheating, that's unfair, all of your favorite creators are doing this. Or if they're not, they're paying a ghostwriter to do it. The only difference between a ghostwriter and Claude is going to cost you $20 per month, and a good copywriter will cost you $5,000 per month. Now, the next AI system that we use is one that I've spoken about a lot on this channel before. Collecting a lead is absolutely pointless if you don't follow up with them right away and then actually engage with them. Getting back to your leads fast is the difference between you making money and not making money. And if you're doing it manually, it's pretty much impossible for you to actually keep it up as you start to scale and grow your business. And again, to do this manually, it's going to cost you thousands on hiring team members, appointment setters, that kind of thing. So what we do is we use AI agents to send initial messages and actually start a conversation with every lead that we collect. And these agents have a back and forth chat, qualifying leads, educating them, and scoring them based on how qualified they are and how ready they are to actually make a purchase with us. We may collect like 1,000 leads every single month. And for us to then go and manually message all of those leads would take us hours, and we'd end up definitely missing some. But now with these AI agents, it's all fully automated. Here are some quick examples of the conversations that this AI is actually having with our leads on WhatsApp and through SMS. And you'll see that every lead goes through a conversation with the AI, and then if they're a good fit for us, we then ask them to then book in for a call. Now, if you put us up against our competition, we're the first company to get back to every lead that actually opts in with us, right? So that massively increases the amount of appointments that we book, and of course leads that actually end up converting into paying clients. And we use these agents in another system too. These agents can actually be used to re-engage old leads, month on month. We've actually got a client that works with big investors, and they spend a lot of their time raising capital. And just by using these AI agents, we was able to raise almost $2.5 million from quote unquote dead leads that have been written off inside of their CRM. So not only can you have a system that manages every single lead that you collect, you can also keep following up with those leads over time. So you've actually got this automated sales machine that just keeps those leads warm and active. Again, all without you needing a team to go and do it. Now, next up, let's say you've got someone on a sales call. Now, we have an AI that helps us write and send follow-up messages custom to that conversation had inside of that call. And you would have seen these before, all of these different AI tools that join your Zoom meetings and Google Meets, and they just record everything, right, and take notes. But for most of the time, people record the calls and then do nothing with the data. And I've tried a few of these different tools, but honestly, I think the best is Fathom. At the end of every single call that we have, we can go and ask Fathom questions and then pull info from that call. So we actually have team members that are writing custom follow-up messages after every single sales call that they have, just by prompting Fathom to provide that email script to use. And all of our sales team are now using Fathom to update contacts inside of the CRM with different notes from those calls. They're using it to send emails, they're using it to send WhatsApp messages, and we're then using the Fathom calls to actually update the onboarding docs that we need completed when we actually start working with the client. I've actually found myself using it so much with some really just simple automations and API calls, and it allows you to take everything a step further. So you can go and build like custom documents from the calls that you're having, for example, like a summary of understanding or a proposal follow-up that's custom to the call that you've just had. And another step beyond that is we're working with a client that actually has 10 sales team members right now, and they're taking around 600 booked calls every single month. Now we're building them a system where an AI agent will actually review the sales team's calls and then send feedback to the sales guys, individually coaching them after every single call. So there's so much that you can do with these really cheap, simple tools. And if you haven't seen Fathom before, get it live on your calls right now. It's so sick. Now the next system that we have is so simple, also so overlooked. I don't know why more businesses aren't using this, but we just use AI to summarize all the data that we've collected pre-call and during the call, because we've got this systemized delivery process where we need as much information as possible upfront from every single client. That way we can then digest and align that into the systems that we then go and build for them. Instead of us now getting clients on like 4 different calls to go over everything, we just use AI to help us break down all of the conversations that we have had, and then we fill in the gaps with that AI. And just like our email writing system, we then train and use tools like Claude and GPT to then start to break down the call recordings that we've had using Fathom, and the messages back and forth with the AI agents and the notes from the sales team inside of the CRM. And this then gives a team member that's never spoken to this new client before a complete overview of what they do and who they are. Now, most of the time, it means that we can actually take what would have taken us a week of info collecting on calls and turn it into a few messages back and forth inside of Slack. And I know this one sounds so obvious, but most people are just so focused on like the really complex, barely working solutions like voice AI that they completely overlook just having a simple system that can manage data inside of their business. We feed systems like this our ad results, our funnel conversion stats, we train it on our KPIs, and then it can actually give us recommendations and changes to make based on that data that we fed it. And because you can train these systems, it means that I'm not the bottleneck anymore. There's literally endless ways that you can use something like this in almost every single business that I can think of. And then finally, we use all of these systems that I've shown you today to then manage all of our clients. We give them updates, respond to customer support, and help move clients through the entire delivery process that we have. So having all of this data and the dedicated team of support staff that are now armed with these AI systems, they can then use them to write follow-up messages, provide updates, and support messages, meaning they can go from complete beginners at helping our clients in Slack to pro after watching some Loom videos and pressing some buttons with some AI. So look, those are some really simple low-cost AI systems that we are using every single day, and you can go and make them as complex as you like, but setting up different automations underneath each one of these and customizing them around your specific business is going to be really where you find the value. But if you can keep things simple, you'll find it way easier to get started. Everything that I've spoken about today has allowed us to scale well beyond 100K per month with a super lean team, meaning most importantly, we actually make a very healthy profit inside of the business that we run. Now, if you did get value from this video, let me know in the comments down below. There is also a link below to a 5-day mini course designed to help you build and scale a high ticket service business in 2025. So go and check that out too down below. Good luck out there. Catch you in the next one. See ya.